Today I'm facing my biggest fear, using many colors in just one picture. Yeah, you heard correctly, an artist with fear of using colors. It's just like an employee of McDonald's is afraid of hamburgers, or an internet user who is afraid of pictures of cats, or a German who is afraid of sauerkraut, or bratwurst, or I don't know what are the stereotypes of Germans. Normally, I just use two main colors in my drawings. But now I decided to be super brave, and so I grabbed every marker I had. The first step for this little terrifying project was to get an overview of all my colors. So I sorted the markers that I had by the color. What a surprise! Basically, I have the colors of the rainbow, black tones, gray tones, and many skin tones. And yeah, thanks to Oohoo, 3 neon markers. So I have 160 Touch 5 markers, 40 Oohoo markers, 29 Copic Chows, and 62 markers by Winsor and Newton. In total, there are 291 Argo-based markers, so almost 300 markers to color one picture. Yeah! So the next step was to think about a subject, and I finally decided to go with a rainbow-colored peacock and a girl. So I have the colors blue, purple, green, red, orange, and yellow for the peacock, and the skin tones for the girl. The gray tones and blacks I wanted to use for shading. So let's go! Here you can see now my drawing, and I was really curious how just colored pencil outlines look with markers, so that's why I didn't do a proper line work here. I was too lazy. The idea for this challenge came to my mind when I watched a video by Super Ray Dizzle. She used all her colored pencils for drawing, and that was really entertaining. So I wanted to do this with my markers, basically to face my fear of using colors in one picture. I didn't expect at all that there will be a nice colored drawing in the end, but I really like to include more than 2 main colors in my drawing soon. But every time I've done this in the past, it went wrong. I wanted to do this video for a very long time now, at least for a month or 2. But what held me back, aside from being forced to use many colors, was that I was overwhelmed doing a big picture to get all the colors on paper. But then I changed my mind and decided to do a normal A4 piece. I don't have to celebrate each color and give it lots of space in my drawing. It's totally fine when I just do tiny parts with one color, and it's totally okay to do multiple layers so that there are many colors in just one area. And with this easement, I was finally ready to start my project. As you could see, I started coloring the peacock with my blue tones. When I sorted the colors, I realized that I had many turquoise tones, many gray tones, and lots of pinks and purples. I was aware that I buy many turquoise tones all the time and that I am owning many markers of this color. But the pink and purple overload was a real surprise. So this must be because the sets come with many pinks and purples themselves. I can't remember that I bought a purple tone specifically, so they must be a part of a pre-sorted set. Oh, my mind is crap with this code. This is also possible. I slowly worked my way through the peacock, and at some point I was thinking, oh, this doesn't look too bad. There is a tiny possibility that this will come out okay. So this was around the time when I used the yellow tones, and since then I really tried not to mess up. But this wasn't that easy. I was really lazy and I didn't test the colors before I used them on my piece. That's the most stupid thing I could do. I talk about how you cannot trust the color on cap all the time, and then I don't follow my own advice. Yeah, normally I really test the colors before using them. But when you have to use almost 300 markers, then some laziness is okay, I think. But yeah, this caused many shock situations whilst drawing, and when there was a color I didn't expect at all and that didn't fit into my nice rainbow peacock, I panicked a bit, and then I tried to cover that mistake. If I had to do this challenge again, I would do some things differently. So when I began with the coloring, I used just one color for a tiny part, and then I went on with another color, and so on and so on. But the problem here is that this might cause some feeling of disconnection, so that blue A looks different than blue B. Basically, this isn't too bad, especially for this challenge. But later I changed my coloring technique and I used a very light color for the whole area in which I wanted to use the color family. So let's say I wanted to color a hand in blue. My first technique was to use a blue tone for one finger and another blue tone for another finger, and so on. But later I realized that I should color the whole hand with a light blue first and then adding other tones on top so that they look more connected because they have the same underlying color. This doesn't make a huge difference, especially when your base color is very light and your colors on top very dark, but somehow I liked it better. When I had to color the girl, I was a bit afraid of all the different skin tones I had to include, but with the technique I described, it worked totally fine. So I used a very light base tone and then I added all the colors on top, and the skin tones don't differ that much, so she got an even skin tone. And I realized that many markers do have almost the same color, especially the pinks and purples I have. That's why it was not too hard for me to use every color in the end. After I included every color in the drawing, I went back to some areas and darkened the shadows a bit and reused some of the markers. This was very relaxing because I didn't need to worry about using tons and tons of markers for a tiny area. I just could focus on the coloring part. Yeah, and here you can see my finished result. Do you do color studies before you start coloring? Or are you as impatient as I and jump right into coloring? Let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it with your friends. And yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next week. Bye bye.